Oh man, things is hitting the fan or it's hitting the fan. So the foundational Black American family, listen up, the lineage people, our people, they're mad at Ryan Coogler. They are, man, listen, they are hot with Ryan Coogler. And they're talking about boycott the Black Panther 3 series that's set to come out December 15th, 2028. They're upset because we know that Chadwick Boseman, he passed away in 2000, right, from cancer. And he was Black Panther, a foundational Black American from South Carolina. They're upset because now he's casted this young man. What's the young man's name? David Johnson, or whatever his name is, right? Now, mind you, he's probably a British Nigerian or British Caribbean actor. And a lot of foundational Black Americans upset because you have him, and when you deal with the main character actors, Letitia Wright, right? She's from Guyana. You have Winston Duke, right? He's also African. So now when you deal with main characters in regards to Black Panther, you don't have no FBAs. But FBAs was very instrumental in making the Black Panther character what it is, not Africa. No, that was us. We was writing the comic books. We took them mainstream. We took the even though we didn't make it, right? We didn't make it. We was the ones that made him famous. We was the ones that put him in the hip hop genre, right? You know, when you look at somebody like Black Panther and then you see like a Blade character, right? Black Panther is the catalyst for all of those different characters, right? These were shaped and molded by foundational Black Americans. So now for a foundational Black American to not be a main character in the show, and you have a Ryan Coogler, the one that's actually doing the movie, that's the problem. When we say, man, we got to get our own, right? Okay, we go out and get our own. We still don't have our own, right? So what's the problem? So Brother O'Shea, my little brother, he did an amazing video on this, man. And I want to respond to it, right? You know, and interject some of my own thing into this. But we're going to get off into this because this was very interesting, man. Very interesting.
This short British African David Johnson that Hollywood has been trying to force on us for the past few years is going to be the new Black Panther. I hate this. Will not be watching it.
In July 1966, writer-editor Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby created what we now know as the Black Panther character, as well as the fictional nation of Wakanda. And they made their debut in the 52nd edition of the Fantastic Four. Now, it's important to know that Black Panther, aka T'Challa, is not African American or Black American. He is an African fictional character, the king and protector.
Now, I want to speak to that because you know, we're pushing our lineage today, our FBA lineage. But remember, FBA is a lineage. I want y'all to listen to me. Everybody in the lineage don't say that we're not African. I don't say that. Some brothers and sisters in the lineage do. That's not something that I say, right? But we also are indigenous here to the Americas. That's a fact, right? I've been saying that as well, right? We're indigenous to this whole globe. In the 60s and 70s, most of our people were, especially in the, up north in the Midwest and West Coast, was pushing Pan-Africanism at that time. And we people, you know, a lot of our elders pushed their African roots. Now, this is the thing. Because of that, we was the ones that made the Black Panther character what it was, right? About the Africa. That's why going into the 80s, you had the X-Clan, you had Lakim Shabazz, right? You had Public Enemy, and everything was about Africa and free South Africa. I grew up in that culture. I grew up in that time, right? We was the ones that made the dashikis cool. They wasn't wearing dashikis. That was us, right? When you see the Black Panthers of the 60s. Now, we're going to get off into that. We're going to really get off into that in this video because there's a reason why you had the Black Panther Party for self-defense. And where did it come from? The Africans wasn't promoting that. That was foundational Black Americans promoting that.
Of Wakanda, located in East Africa. And this storyline is different from what was happening in the 60s. Blacks were fighting for civil rights all across Black America, fighting for voting rights. And of course, these Black Americans were linked to their history of slavery. But Wakanda represented the opposite situation. It was an advanced isolationist nation, never colonized unlike its neighbors, and it was an ultra advanced society containing vibranium.
He's right, you know.
This infrastructure allowed this country to protect themselves from colonial exploitation and outside interference. So by the time the 70s came, Black America was kind of adopting to Black Panther. But instead of breaking out into the mainstream, Black Panther maintained a cult following. In fact, the most famous comic book character of the 70s was Luke Cage in Storm. The 80s saw Black Panther in immediate decline, as well as the majority of the 90s, while other Black comic book characters like Storm reigned supreme. But then in 1998, something really interesting happened. The first Black American started to write for the Black Panther franchise, and his name was Christopher Priest. He gave T'Challa a new edge. He transformed the T'Challa character and revived it back for readers.
Now we go over here and we ask, well, who was Christopher Priest, right? Who was Christopher Priest? So, Christopher Priest was a trailblazing African-American comic book writer who redefined the modern myth of T'Challa in his acclaimed 1998-2003 Black Panther series, right? Breaking barriers, Christopher Priest, born James Christopher Owsley, became the first African-American editor in mainstream American comics and penned the longest consecutive run by a Black creator on a major Marvel or DC title with his 62-issue Black Panther run. Shifting the perspective rather than focusing solely on standard superhero tropes, Priest introduced U.S. State Department employee Everett K. Ross as an outsider lens, framing T'Challa as a brilliant, cunning strategist and a dignified global statement. Now, a dignified global statement that came from FBA. We shaped and molded him, right? We shaped and molded him. So now we get back because there's more.
Then after that, we would see Reginald Hudlin. He injected hip hop culture and Black pride into the series, and then of course,
so then we get to Reginald Hudlin, right? Reginald Hudlin is an African American director, writer, and producer known for infusing an African-centered, self-determining ethos into his entertaining projects, notably writing Marvel's Black Panther comic series and producing films highlighting Black culture, right? So when I say FBA is a lineage, remember, it's a lineage. In FBA, you got the Black Church, you got Hebrew Israelites, right? You got Nation of Islam members, you got Sunni members, you got Pan-Africans, you got people that's African-centered. You have a little bit of everybody, right? You have those of us that believe we're indigenous to the Americas. So we don't all just think one way. So don't leave stupid stuff in my comments. I'm not trying to hear it. We all think different, right? I think that we are African-centered and we're indigenous-centered. We're a little bit of everything. That's what I believe, right? The same way you're entitled to believe what you and teach what you teach. And I won't come bother you because that's what you teach, right? So don't come bother me, right? But so he was the one infused Black Panther 2005 to 2008 penned the comic book run that infused with an African-centered, self-determining ethos, and noted by the Root and executive produced the animated series, right? So this is another wait a minute, hold on, sorry, my bad. This is another FBA brother that was instrumental in making things happen, right?
Tahisi Coates is the one that took Black Panther to the mainstream.
He's right, you know.
Now, although Jack.
Now let's go over the Ta-Nehisi Coates, right? Award-winning author Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote Marvel's Black Panther comic series from 2016 to 2021, penning major arcs like A Nation Under His Feet and the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda, right? A Nation Under His Feet, when a superhuman terrorist group that calls itself the People sparks a violent uprising as described by Amazon. T'Challa faces intense civil unrest and questions about democratic rule in Wakanda, the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. T'Challa is thrust into a deep space where he loses his memory and labors as a slave in vibranium mines, ultimately sparking a cosmic rebellion against an oppressive emperor. Right. So now Ta-Nehisi Coates come out, and so they're shaping the narrative of the movies that you see. These are foundational Black Americans. So now when you hear FBA people upset about Ryan Coogler not having an FBA as a main character in the show, this is why. So, I don't come on and just start running my mouth and just say, hey, I got a problem with these tethers. No, I'm showing you why foundational Black Americans are upset. Africans didn't do this. We did it. Now you have other people playing in the roles that our people made famous, right? But let's keep moving, man. Let's keep moving.
Kirby created Black Panther, these 3 Black American writers scaled Black Panther. They got it so popular that Black Panther was ready for the movie theaters. And the first Black Panther in 2018 did not disappoint.
Damn.
This movie made $1.34 billion globally. And with Chadwick Boseman playing T'Challa, this franchise was going to continue to grow. In the United States, the movie made $700 million. Out of the $700 million, Black America contribute $259.
Now that's notable. I want y'all to remember that. Out of the $700 million that it made in America, FBA $260 million. So, Ryan, listen, brother, you FBA and you've been doing a great job, but you dropped the ball here, bro. This is where we're saying we're not getting our respect that we deserve on so many different levels. It's not that we dislike the other groups. It's just that we have eyes. We seeing what's happening right in front of our face.
That means 37% of the money came from us, which is typically unusual for most ticket sales. Now, in August 28, 2020, Chadwick Boseman would die from complications from colon cancer, but the film would still go on. In 2022, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, in which the film would still gross over $800 million. And $454 million of that would come in the United States, with Black America contributing 44% of that money contributing.
So think about that, right? They made $800 million. We contributed $200 million of that, right? We contributed 44%, right? And ticket buyers. So when people say that the majority of our people are not African centered, that's not true, right? What I'm saying is our people was on this, right? Our people, remember, we are a lineage. We don't all operate or think the same, but we still the same family, the same people. We are a lineage. And we got a problem with this because we made that character who it was, not the Africans. That was us. But let's proceed.
Almost $200 million. So when Ryan Coogler announced this,
I want you guys to give a warm welcome to our new Black Panther, Mr. David Johnson.
I want to say thank you so much.
Black Americans were pissed. And if you think about it, they got every right to be. Black Americans have supported this franchise more than anybody monetarily. The 3 Black American comic book writers are responsible for bringing it back to life. And it seems like a slap in the face.
Huh?
Now, British actor David Johnson is going to be the new T'Challa, and people are saying that this role should have went to a Black American. But the question is this.
Do Africans watch Black Panther?
The total money for Black Panther in 2018 was about $1.34 million. The estimated money that the African box office brought was a whopping $9.3 million, which is even less than 1% of the total gate.
Wow. They weren't even as big as that and vast as that continent is. And listen, Africans got money, man. Don't let them tell you that they don't got money. There's millions of Africans in those countries with money. For that gate to be that small like that, but you casting all these non-FBAs, that's a problem. That goes to show you that Ryan Coogler is not running the show, bro. he's being funded by people that's controlling the agenda, man. It is what it is.
In 2022, Black Panther Wakanda Forever would gross nearly $880 million, with the total African gate being around at the most $4.4 million. So with over $2.1 billion made in the franchise, Africa contributed a whopping $14 million, which is well below 1%. So no, Africa is not contributing to Black Panther like Black Americans. There is.
And see, let me say this, because people say, well, Black FBAs are hating. No, we're not hating. We just coming with the facts. These are facts. This is not about feelings. I don't hate Africans. I love Africans. I don't hate Caribbean people. I wouldn't even mind if you had a couple of them as main characters, but then you had at least the child could have been the FBA, right? You could have had the other brother as the Nigerian, right? But where are we? Right? You could have had a Caribbean, a foundational Black American, and an African. How are we not in the show at all? What the hell is going on? T'Challa should have been FBA. You could have had the same system for the Caribbean, and I wouldn't argued. But this is a problem, bro.
There's a lot of criticism with Ryan Coogler because he is the director and writer of Black Panther 3, and people are calling him out for basically not hiring a lead from the Black community. But
I don't even know what that needs to be said, to be quite honest with you, because he has shown us time after time after time after time that he can rise to whatever occasion is presented before him.
So if you look at Ryan Coogler in the last 15 years, most of these films are led by a Black American lead. He's done an excellent job in producing these films. So I think that he would know what he is doing. Am I honest?
I disagree with that. He's done an excellent job with leading these films because foundational Black Americans have supported him. We supported his endeavors because he's an FBA and we loved him. We supported him. We're upset. We feel let down with this one because we're saying like, yo, bro, where are we? Why are we not involved in this? And it's not us saying, well, we just want to have the thing on a control of everything Black. No, if we are the ones that made the character, we should be in the show. We should be a big part of the show. That's all we're saying. And that's what we're saying. We're being replaced. We made him who he is because we loved and supported him.
Opinion based on his track record. And then
So we called you African Americans. You were offended because it had the word African in it and wanted to be called Black Americans. Black Panther 3 is about to get released. You're African American again, and then you get mad because they're casting a British Black person for the role of Black Panther. Pick a side.
No, but see, that comment is stupid because based off the numbers, and I keep telling y'all following this online stuff, FBA is a lineage. Not all FBA believe we not Africans. That's certain groups of people. That's not the majority of the FBA. So, like, miss me with the stuff, right? We are foundational Black Americans, but we also have African bloodline. We know that, like everybody else do. Right? We know that. So we get to claim whatever we want to claim. But again, regardless of what you're saying, we made the character. And on top of that, it's standing on business. A lot of millions of FBAs are still Pan-African. I'm not, but millions of them are. Because we are a lineage.
Pick one.
so this lady has a point, right? She's saying that a lot of the Black Americans want to delineate from Africa, but at the same time, you want to be associated with Black Panther, which is it? Well, the problem with her argument is that it was Black Americans that revitalized Black Panther. It was not Nigerian Americans. It was not anybody in Africa that made Black Panther what it was. It was Black Americans that made Black Panther what it was. So I can see why Black Americans are so tied to Black Panther, because financially they supported the most. And when the character was in the dumps, it was not Africans that made it what it was. It was us that made it what it was.
Now, I want the FBA family to know they don't care nothing about that. They're going to overlook that because we the ones that got to do all the heavy lifting and all the hard work. And then they just come over and benefit. They don't care nothing about what we did. And when they hear us complain, they're going to tell us to shut up. This is what goes on. Well, let's proceed.
Right, you know.
So while I do believe that she has a point, she doesn't. And then we come to the point with British black actors taking the roles of black Americans. How should this be handled?
Ryan Coogler is in the position of being a lender. And when the Bible talks about a lender, it's better to be the lender than the borrower. So when people say, what have they done for us? We're blessed that people don't have to do for us. Okay, God bless the child who has his own. We're blessed that we don't have to beg for someone to give us roles.
I want to give a shout out to Marika C, the Blueprint on TikTok. She said something that's profound, that as black Americans, we should be thankful that we have so much to give. Now, I do understand a lot of black Americans are tired of always having to give. And that's been the relationship that we've had for the most part in the Pan-African community or in the diaspora. The black Americans have a high.
It's been one way. We've been giving, but who gives to us? Who comes and looks out for us at times? Nobody.
Expectation of giving opportunities to everybody else. And even though David Johnson, from what I understand, is an excellent actor, and he will revitalize the brand for Black Panther as he's playing T'Challa II, this is something that is largely true, guys. And as much as we would want a black American character, I would love to see somebody get in this role. What she's saying is we are already the role. In the black British community and all the other migrants and stuff, they need us. They will always need us to a certain level. And because our community is so lit, we don't even have to worry about this. It is a way to think about it, although I know that some people don't like it. But what do you think, guys, in the comment section? Do you think that the Black Panther role should have been given to a black American? Or does Ryan Coogler understand what he's doing? Don't you think that he feels giving this role to a young black British actor with a lot of acclaim will revitalize the interest in Black Panther? Let me know in the comments, guys.
All right, so the thing is that this is the thing, my issue, right? This is my issue. I don't have a problem with the British actors. I think some of the British actors are amazing, very amazing actors. Some of the African actors are amazing. Our foundational Black Americans are amazing. The issue that I have is Ryan Coogler, you know who supported you and made you who you are. And the person standing in the middle holding the microphone should be an FBA. I don't mind that you got the sister from the Caribbean and the brother from Africa. Listen, it doesn't matter. As long as we running the show and you know the people that support it and making the characters, we're being remembered. People know who we are because we're being written out of history, right? We're being replaced. You know that, I know that. So we're not making these complaints out of hatred towards other groups. No, I don't have hatred towards other groups. I don't even have a problem with some of them playing in the movie. Okay, fair enough. There's some great actors, but we should be front and center in those movies of things that we supported when we are the ones that made him who he is. That's the problem that we have as FBAs, man. This is a problem because y'all are out here making our point. And then when we start complaining, all of a sudden something wrong with us. So the sister said, be happy that we got something to give. But what happened when we don't have no more to give because we done gave it all away and ain't nobody giving back? That's the problem. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. Shout out to my little bro O'Shea for making this video. I had to respond to this. I definitely had to respond to this. We should be front and center pushing the movie. But y'all let me know what y'all think. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.